Hello, everyone. Welcome to SmartGet Academy, to this crowdcast. I'm Vova, head of community at SmartGet. And first of all, check out this crowdcast room. You see the chat on the right. Feel free to write something to say hi to everyone. Hi, guys. Excited to see so many of you today, almost 70 people in the room live. Also, on the left, we have the questions and answers tab. I see quite a few questions there. Not all of them relate to the topic, but anyway. So today we will be talking about hacking the translation industry. Nothing more, nothing less. I will show you a presentation, and afterwards we will get to questions and answers, and I can also show you something live in the platform. First of all, this is not a complete course. It's an introductory, let's say, so webinar, because the topic is big, and there will be more webinars, and there will be also more content posted in text form. You can see the green button under the video that says more Smart Agents tutorials. Actually, there's only one SmartGet Smart Agents tutorial there right now, but I will be adding it. And feel free to stop by our community platform at any time, which is at the same website, currently forum.smartget.ai. Anyway, so let's get to the presentation. And let me switch to it. 1 second. So we will be talking about hacking the translation industry and being smart. When we say hacking, we not mean that we will be hurting someone by logging onto their servers and trying to get some information in an illegal way. We're totally against that. Rather than this, we are talking about hacking as in using the environment in an unconventional way, maximizing the benefits while minimizing the efforts. This might be a bit of a bulky definition, so I want to show you one video. Actually, I think, let me exit this mode for a while, and I can actually show it to you. Let me also, do you see it now? Let me switch back to, yeah. So just for a moment, I will switch to this video and we will take a look at it. That's it. Basically, you can watch the whole video at the link here. I will switch back to the presentation in the meantime. So we are talking about being smart and about using the tools we have in a way that will allow us to maximize what we get while not spending too much time at this. Let me switch back to the presentation mode. Do you see me now? Let me see. 1 second, sorry. I have to click it once again. Hopefully it works now. Don't really know how to find it out because it takes all my screen. But hopefully it does. 1 second, I'll log on to the crowdcast to see if it does. One second, sorry. Anyway, so the first question is, and we will be talking today about your being not just translators, but agents for your clients and partners for your clients. And the first question is, why actually you have to do this? Why cannot you just go on translating for the rest of your life and not caring about anything at all? Well, first of all, let me show you this. Let us ask ourselves, why do clients prefer agencies in the first place? Any suggestions? Maybe you can type in the chat something. Why do you think clients prefer working with agencies? It's easier, right, Ottavio? Thank you. It's secure, quicker, right? More reliable, let's say so. One-stop solution, right? Sorry, yeah, sorry for the typo. Patients, you are very vigilant. I will fix it afterwards. So let me switch from this screen then. Actually, these are the same points that I came up with when I was thinking about it, and I put them under three terms: formality, universality, and reliability. I will now talk of each one separately. In the meantime, you can try to find out what KLSB means. And in the next slide, we will see it, but maybe some of you will guess. So by formality, I mean that clients want all the processes to be done in a way that is adopted in their company. If they want to pay via wire transfer, they want to pay via wire transfer. And if they need some kind of reports or bills to be accounted in their system, they need to have it. And of course, they want to have it as a one-stop solution, as you said. So they do not want to have a single document for every freelancer they work with. By universality, I mean that they also, as a one-stop solution, they want to be able to send all their translation projects, whether it's regardless of the language pair or the specialization, they want to send it to a single source and have it taken care of. And finally, they want reliability. They want to be sure that if something happens to one person, let's say so, to their single point of contact in an agency, they can easily go on because they will be given another project manager or account manager and so on. And they are afraid that with a freelancer, they can lose this reliability. And summing up, it actually can all be called by one. Anyone got the KLSB? No, sorry, it's not Kyle's lightsaber. Okay, so what I meant by KLSB, which is actually a quite well-known proverb in Russian. I think it is not in English, but anyway, it helps to understand. It means know less, sleep better. You see, for most clients, translation and linguistics in general, it is not their main line of business. So while they do understand that it is important, let's say some of them do understand that it is important, they do not want to get into the intricacies of all this. And if there is an example I can compare it with, it is the giving birth. We can say that all clients want to see this cute translation. Well, the analogy might not be full, but they want to see the outcome. But what they do not want to see is how this translation is done. Because if we compare it to, for instance, some husbands, if we compare a client to a husband, the husband does not always want to be there when birth is given. So that's why they only want to see what comes out, but not how it comes out. So I'll switch from this frightening slide. By the way, any of you guys here were during the birth of their children? I mean, the male part of the audience. Yeah, me too, by the way. But anyway, so I asked why, first of all, why do we want to act like agencies? And the answer is, the very simple answer is that agencies actually charge quite a lot. If you take a look at the websites of agencies, or let's say them translation portals, quasi-agencies on the web, the more popular of them, they charge anywhere from 10 to 20 cents per word. And that, for instance, Unbabel, that charges 10 cents per word, they do it for post-editing of machine translation. You can imagine what the quality is. And actually, if you count, in most of these cases, a translator is paid maybe half of this amount. So by paying 10 to 20 cents, let's say, so to an agency, the client pays only half of this for the actual service. The rest of this is for this reliability and this luxury of knowing less and sleeping better. Yeah, I'm glad for all of you guys who've been where their children were born. I wish someday maybe everyone will do like this. But anyway, let's switch back to our translation business. Now, if we are on the same page regarding if we want to be the same to our clients, or if we want to be as successful as agencies are, the question is how. How can we do and charge what agencies do while remaining ourselves and while not being an agency? And the answer is, a very short answer, is by being smart and using the technology to hack through the obstacles, meaning to do things in the most efficient manner without spending all the tons of money that agencies usually spend on them. Actually, before we go, the next question is how exactly, but before we go to this, I want to say that if you think that an agency charges twice and it gives half to a freelancer, and if you think that the rest goes to the agency itself, you're actually wrong, because of 100%, of course, if 40% goes to a translator, then around 15% usually is the net revenue of an agency. And the rest is administrative costs, all kinds of vendor management, project management activities, all the things that running a company requires, risk management, and so on. But with the help of SmartCat, you can actually do the same, and you do not even need to be an agency or to start it. I'm going to tell them about an approach that I think I came up with, that I created, and that works very well for me, because as most of you know, I am a translator myself. And the approach consists in, let me switch back. Yeah, it's not here, but it consists in actually running your client translation projects on SmartCat from their own account and on their behalf. So instead of creating some corporate account for yourself, you create one for your user, of course not user, for your client. So it's done very easily. First of all, you log off your current account and create a new one. And when doing so, make sure that you use your referral link. You can read here, smtc/referrals. We have a referral program that is called Wave. You can get pretty substantial benefits from it. So click through and see what's in it for you. You can just type it in your address line. But the matter is, if you create an account for your customer by yourself with your referral link, then everything the customer afterwards pays through SmartCat, you get a certain percentage of this. So you create an account. I'm going step by step here by clicking create an account, entering the user email, choosing company, because they are not a freelancer, they're not a translation company, they are just a company. Then you enter their details. By the way, let me pop myself out so you can see the screen better. 1 second. Yeah, like this. And after this, you have a workspace of your client, which is of course clean at first, but it will not stay so for long. After this, an important thing that you must do is you must go to the menu and add yourself as an admin to that account. One thing to mention is that when doing so, of course, you must let the client know that you are going to do it. And there is a sure way to do this. You just tell them that, okay, for instance, a use case of mine that just happened today, a client came to me by referral and said that they want to order something from me. And I told them, okay, I will create a client portal for you on a certain system that is called SmartCat, and you will be able to log on to it and to download all your translations once they are done. and you will also be able to pay to me via the same system. And the payment part is actually important. I will get back to this later, but it creates a bond, not maybe a psychological bond, but some kind of technological bond between you and the client. And the client sees that you are acting professional, that you are creating some kind of workspace for them, and it's already convenient for them. And you will also tell them that they will be reaping certain benefits from it. I will come back to this later. So you add yourself as an admin, and there you go. So what you can do in this account? First of all, you can create and execute your own projects. So whenever this client wants a translation from you, you just upload it to their account and work on it as a freelancer. Of course, you must, because you want to get paid by that client, you invite yourself as a freelancer to this account. This is not complex, and we will be sharing more tutorials on how to do this later. Then as you go, you accumulate resources. So you accumulate translation memories and glossaries, terminology bases, which is also a very valuable thing for the client, because the more you accumulate them, the better, the more consistent the translations become. So even if at some point you will have to invite some other translator to work with that client, for instance, if you are busy, then you will be able to share the same glossaries with them, so they will use the same terminology. And you can explain this all to the client, and this is really a powerful way to make them come back to you, because they will know that in this case they will get higher quality and more consistency. The third thing you can do is do team projects. I will get back to this later, but in a nutshell, you will be able to create multilingual projects to any number of languages, or for instance, if a huge document comes, you will be able to do them together with your colleagues on SmartCat. And finally, you will be able to get paid for translation itself, for managing projects, and for other things as well. Now, let me show you some examples of what I have in a real account of my real customer. I will first show it as screenshots, and later, as we go along, as you ask questions, I will show it live as well. Right now, just to be quicker, I will show it as screenshots. So here, here you can see what projects I have. You can see that there's quite a few projects here, and it's actually maybe 2 months of work. And this specific customer was using another web platform to do their translations. They were not always happy with the quality. And once they saw that they can achieve the same level of convenience that they had on that platform, they just started contacting me for basically all their projects in my pair, and also later in other pairs as well. Coming back to these 3 points that I had: the universality, the formality, and the reliability. On SmartCat, you have all of this. They have all of this because they have the formality, because they can pay via any means they prefer. We will talk about this later. They have the universality because thanks to the marketplace, you can invite your colleagues to the projects that they want to be done. And finally, they have the reliability, because if anything goes wrong, they have the support team that will help them. They have the success team, the vendor management team, and so on. So even if something happens to you, or if you are not available, I don't know, if you're on a vacation or something, they will have a chance to continue using it and finally using your service anyway, because you will be getting a referral commission on this. But anyway, I was showing you the examples. Here are the projects, the glossaries that I have for them, the translation memories. You can see here we have translation memories for 20 language pairs. And we had already team projects, quite a big team projects, maybe not huge, but we started very small. But then they came back to me because they liked the experience. I think some of you in the audience were there and were a part of these projects. They came back with a bigger project, and we did it all on SmartCat. I just invited, on behalf of the client, I invited all the other guys to that project. And coming back to the rates question, you can see the per word rate here. So it was 20 cents per word. Because it was not a huge project, around 50 words, and it had quite a tight deadline, and they agreed on that price. For them, it was 22 cents per word, but 20 cents of them went to the actual translators. So that's the kind of thing you can achieve if you are being smart. And finally, you of course get paid, and the customer can easily pay. You give them the link to the payment portal, which is within SmartCAD. It's just in the menu, you click payments, and they have all the things they need there to pay for their projects. And at that, they can pay by almost any means. They can pay by wire transfer, they can pay by credit cards, they can pay by PayPal. Afterwards, as they pay to SmartCAD, and after SmartCAD takes its commission, which is usually 10%, but with the referral link, it will be less for you. Instead of 10%, it will be 6% for you. In this case, you get a level of commission which is comparable to, or even less than you get, for instance, on PayPal. Because if you just do a project for a customer and then they pay you via PayPal, there's usually a 5% commission involved if it is an overseas payment, an international payment. So you can do the same on SmartCAD, but at the same time, it is a whole ecosystem. And you can also ask in all these projects, these teamwork projects that we had, what's in it for me? Here's what was in it for me. So if we come back to this project we had here, I took 10% of the price for myself. And I did it quite easily. I of course agreed with the customer on this. It's not something I did behind their backs. You just go to the payment cabinet, you click this button that's called Create Freelancers Task, and you enter yourself, the project name, what you did, and other parameters that are needed. It can be hours, words, anyway, anything. So basically speaking, on SmartCAD, you can get paid from the customer for any projects, even if it was an interpreting job, for instance. You can easily create an interpreting job here in the payment cabinet and get paid for this with a minimum commission. That's it. Let me see what else I wanted to say. Maybe I can get back to your questions for some time. Just now, quickly, let's do some math. So if a client goes to an agency, then as I already said, of $100 paid, you get 40, the agency gets 15, and the rest goes for various costs. And in this way that we were talking about now, $80 goes to the translator, $10 goes to you, say if you're charging 10% for project management, and $10 go to SmartCAD. You can easily see the difference. So it's not that agencies are that greedy, it's just that when they are using outdated and inefficient systems, they have to spend a lot on things that are not productive. You have the luxury of doing it another way around by doing this on SmartCAD on behalf of your clients directly. So the call to action is be an agent, be a smart agent, and be a smart agent on SmartCAD. That's it, basically. And now we can get to your questions. If you forgive me, let us take a 5 minutes break and we will get back in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. So let me see what questions we had in the meantime. So I saw there was one about switching between accounts. Let me show how this is done. It's actually pretty easy. Let me share the screen once again. I'm opening my SmartCat workspace. You see, you can have lots of accounts, any number of accounts on SmartCat. So in my case, I have this number. This is the one I was talking about right now. And you can switch between them by clicking your name and then going through everything. So the personal is basically the one where you can get jobs, while the others are corporate. And yes, if you at the moment have just a personal account, I think Ottavio already answered it, but anyway, if you have a personal account and you want a corporate one, you can write to our support team. It's very easy. You can either use email or better, send a request from a special page that is under the question sign here. You can click new feedback here and just write, I want an LSP account, so an agency account, something like this, because in this case you will have all the benefits of an LSP, such as hiring freelancers and so on, and also being hired by companies. What else do we have? What were the payment times accepted for the clients? Can they use US bank transfer? Let's go here and see. You can pay by wire transfer if you go to if you create a bill. I will not click it now because it's a real customer account. So you choose which jobs you want to pay for, then you click create bill. And afterwards you can go to bills and payments, download a bill in the language of your preference, and then you can use it to make a payment via wire transfer. So yes, as soon as the money comes to our account, we will then distribute them to the freelancers. What else? Shaima asks, is it possible to integrate SmartCat with one's own website? Yes, it is possible. To do this, you must install the widget. It's very easy. It doesn't require any programming skills or something. You can go either by smtc add/widget or smartcat.ai/widget. I will not go through in details through it, but I can show you how it works on my own website. russianist.com/com translation. This is my website, and in the end, you can see this price estimation form. So the visitor can either type something or upload a file. I will just say hello world and have it translated from English to Russian. Then they will click calculate cost. They will get the price calculated automatically based on your configuration. I will not dive deeper into this, but this is done in your LSP account. Non-literary, continue. I'm leaving my email. And now, if we go to my other account, which is called the Russianist, I also get, by the way, an email message saying that there was an order placed or a price quotation requested. So you can go and you can see that it's already in my account. If you open it in the editor, if there were many documents, you will see many documents too. So here it is. Of course, you don't have to execute it right away. Usually what you would do is contact that client. But by the way, a very interesting idea is not to do it on your account, but to contact that client and say, okay, I will now create a client portal for you, and so on, just as we discussed now. So you put the widget on your website, you get client requests, you onboard them on SmartGet, and you get money for their activity. Let me see if there were questions in the questions tab. So I will skip the questions that are not related to the topic, because by the way, you can ask them in the discussions tab on the left. It is actually an iframe with our forum, and there is a button Ask Us Anything, so feel free to ask your question there. Otavio asks, what happens with the account when you finish the project? Well, the account stays where it was, and it waits for further projects to come, and nothing happens, basically, if I understood the question correctly. Sorry, I'm not sure I did. How do you get that quotation page? Xantra asks. Let me once again share the link here. I will also share maybe takeaways after this webinar, so you can, with all the links that we discussed, and maybe also the presentation, you go here. First of all, you need to create this LSP account via the support, as we talked, as I explained. There you will have the API key, which you will need to use to create that widget. That widget comes in three forms. Either it's a standalone link that you can just maybe share in your email signature, for instance, so that whoever reads your email, they can click and order a translation from you right away. Or you can embed it as an iframe on your website, or you can make it as a pop-up window, also clickable by a link. Sophia asks how to hack the industry and be smart when being new in the industry and with not much experience. Which ones are smart tools? Well, the tool we are talking about right now is SmartGet, and I think it's right what you need to hack the industry. And as I said, I will be sharing more lessons, more tutorials on this. If you click on the green button, there is just one now, but I will be sharing more, explaining how you invite freelancers to your jobs, how you manage payments, and so on. So I will share step-by-step guides so you are not lost in this. Yeah, the session will be recorded. You will be able to access it at the same link where we are now by logging and by checking in after this webinar. It will be already available. Jamila asks, is there a possibility to get the one-on-one tutor to use SmartGet? I translate from English to Arabic. Actually, I'm not sure about one-on-one. You always have the whole community at your fingertip. You just have to go to forum.smartget.ai and ask any questions. And I also think some guys might be willing to do this kind of tutoring. So again, if you go to the discussions tab and ask this question, someone will suggest their services. Of course, they will not come from SmartGet because we do not charge people for learning our platform. We want it to be simple, and whatever is not understood right away, we want to explain it for free, of course, but maybe that's an option. So let me see if there are any other questions in the chat. Otavio, maybe there was something that I missed in the chat while I was away. Some questions that should be answered. Someone asks about an NDA, right? Well, when a user signs up with SmartGet, they sign terms of use, which includes a confidentiality clause. So by being a freelancer on SmartGet, the person has already given their consent to confidentiality requirements. So if you are a client and you're ordering it on SmartGet, you have at least a legal framework in place to ensure such confidentiality. Of course, anything can happen. We cannot promise how every translator can behave. By the way, I think there is also a direct NDA functionality. So yeah, I think there is such thing. So if you are a client and you do want the translators to sign your specific NDA, there is an option. You just have to write to support, and then we will turn on such a kind of button. So when freelancers will be joining your project, they will be given this requirement to sign this NDA. Yeah, so if that's everything, then thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. It was shorter than usual, but I hope I gave an idea of why I think using SmartGet on behalf of your clients is a great idea. And do not miss the chance to get your referral link. You will get one if you click on the green button and you read the first lesson, how to sign up your clients with SmartGet. There is a link to get your referral link, so you can earn on this as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again online. And let's get smart. Thanks, and ta-ta.